Hello. Slight technical difficulties. This has changed. I am going to have to cancel out this screen. I can change the camera around. Hello. Welcome. Let me just get this set up and rearrange the table because we have YouTube refusing to record in landscape, which is very frustrating. But we can make it work. I think we'll turn. You can film it in landscape and then rotate it, but never mind. So we are here. Right, I've just spent the last 10 minutes googling ways to make it work, and it doesn't. Oh, I haven't got my mics plugged in. Bear with me. Oop. So the wires are set up differently as well. Fun. Right. Welcome to the Christmas craft along. That wasn't the start I was planning. Let me just set up. I've got the iPad in front of me, which I could turn to portrait, couldn't I? So I can see. If you are watching along live, this is live streaming. Do feel free to say hello in the comments. There should be a live chat box. I think I've logged on as my husband, so let me just do a quick hello. I look like he's watching this on his lunch break. So do say hello in the comments if you're watching it on the replay. Do say hello too, and I will make this work in portrait. Yes, it'll be fine. So yes, today we are going to be making this woolen bauble Christmas card design, which is new for 2023 in my new range for this year. And then if you've got the Christmas craft along full pack, have a look for your Monday parcel. We'll be opening it up in a sec, and we'll be making that card. I expect it's quite a simple one to start with. I expect we should be done by should be under an hour. I would expect. And there are, I think there's technically 3 options for this kit. We're going to be making the advanced kit, which is in here, and if you've got the beginner's kit, you'll have a few pieces already cut out for you and ready to go, so you'll be able to jump ahead a little bit. And then if you've got the stamps, so all the designs this year come from my new stamp set, which is called Cozy Christmas, and you'll see in here, so we've got the 3 woolen baubles in different sizes, so you'll need to stamp those on some red card. And then we've got the Merry Christmas goes along the bottom, and then we've got the Knitting You A Merry Christmas to go on there. I've done that in a different colour on these just to help it stand out. And then you'll see this little stamp here, which is the top of the baubles. It also makes quite a nice little tea light, so I might experiment with that. So you'll need to stamp that across the card at different heights, and then we've got some embroidery thread to go through. So let's get started. So these up here, that you can, if I leave them up there, you can always see them. So you know what we're doing. So there's the white in the craft version, and let's have a look what I've got in here for us to make today. Carefully unwrap your kit. So we've got the craft version. So in your kit you'll find you've got the envelope, which we can put to one side. Then you've got the card blank. So it's 6x6 card blank inches, and it's got my little logo on the back. And then we've got a red square for the background. Then we've got this panel already stamped. So that's what you're looking to create if you've got the stamps yourself. And then we've got lots of not baubles yet, but lots of wobbles here, and then the embroidery thread. which is a lovely like rich red to go with this card. Just going to put that down on the floor. There we go. So if you've got the beginner's kit, you'd have all these bits already cut out, and then there'll be holes in these as well for you to use all the things we need to do now. So you'll be able to, if you're at the beginner's kit, you can either chill out, have a cup of tea, and while we prep all this, or you can, if you're watching the replay, you can fast forward through. So let's get started. Right, so to make the holes, you can use a sort of the end of scissors or a thick needle, but like an embroidery needle with a bit of force. There is these tools. These are called, I call it a pokey tool, as a visual, and it's basically just a sharp point, sort of safely kept away in here, and it sort of tapers to the end. So it means you, depending on how far you push it, how thick it is. So what we're going to do is make holes on each of these 5 baubles, and you can use. So I've got this nice thick piece of foam, which I use a lot for making holes, as you can see. So that lays on there quite nicely. If alternatively, you can use a ball of blue tack and just place it underneath where it's going to be, and then pierce through. So I'm going to do this. And what I'm going to do, I'm trying to explain where I'm going to pierce the hole. I will show you once I've done one. Because you want it to make it look like that they're hanging from the thread. So hopefully that will show. Let me point with this as well. So it's sort of just on the inside of the inner hole there, and so that should give the impression that the thread is hanging through that hole. So let's do the others. So I've got these ones are carefully positioned so that the 5 baubles fit and they sort of look spaced out. They're not exactly spaced because obviously the baubles are different sizes. So if you're making it from just the stamps, I'd recommend cutting out the baubles first, laying them out, and then deciding where your baubles need to go. And also you can make it bigger, you can have more baubles, you have multicolour ones. Quite fun. So let's do this. So the embroidery thread I have included is, I've given you 3 strands. So depending on how big the needle is that you're using, you might want to do 2 or 1 strands. If you can use all 3, that's fab. You'll have enough to do all of them. I've managed to get this. I'll just test this. Well, I found when I was setting up today, I found this one. It's been embroidered with a huge eye. I'm just going to check that that fits through there nicely. It does. So I'm going to use this one. Nothing like setting the nerves on edge and having to thread a needle live on a video. Just gonna cut it off to get a nice neat end. I need to get on hold those the threaders, like the little white discs that you can automatically. I should have those to hand. Just gonna wet my fingers a bit, keep it under control. And then there we go, all 3 through. It's quite a long thread, so it's up to you. If you want to save thread, you could do one at a time, cut it off, stick it. But I'm going to do all 5 in one go. So I'm going to start that by starting from the back, coming through, and then I'm going to get to the end. I'm going to remember that I haven't got the washi tape out, but I do have some in this little drawer here. It's a treasure trove. This top drawer is like all of my sort of toolkit, and it's a treasure trove of bits and pieces that get dumped in there. But here is some washi tape. So keeping it, so paper tape, so less plastic on the cards. I'm just going to hold that thread down there. Okay, and then we're going to go up and down across. But a little tip to help keep beautiful straight lines on these, because also you want it won't look very, I say realistic, that's probably not the right word, but it won't give the impression that they're hanging if they're all at wonky angles. I'm going to run across the top here with glue mouse. You can do a double-sided tape across the top, and then when I'm going from here, I can keep an eye on the front, make that sure that's straight, and then push it onto there, and it just keep it in place enough to for you to move on to the next one. So as long as you're not too full. So what we're going to do, we're going to do all 5, just holding them in place, and then we'll put some tape over the top to make sure it's firmly in. So again, I'm just going to pull it behind and keep an eye on the front so I can judge whether it's straight. This way. Down. Oops, I pulled that one a little bit too tight that time, so I'm just going to loosen it again so I can straighten it up. Lengthen this a little bit. Last one. And over. And look, I'm always a bit generous with my red. Plenty left over, so you can use it for a different project. Cut that off, and then I'm going to add some tape across the back. There we go, and that will keep that all secure. There we go. So hold on to the light, you can see all the workings, but we're going to have it on the red card so it won't show through. Side. There. Now we need to do some cutting out. So we'll have 8 baubles on here. So we've got 5 to cut out completely, and then we're adding like the top band of wool over the top. So we've got 3 extras there. So let me cut them out. Actually, while you can still see them, so you've got 2 large, and so the large is one is a band, one is a knot. I find it quite useful when I'm cutting out a group of things like this, and I've got to keep track of what I'm doing. It's just to cut through one that you know you're not going to use entirely. And then with the small ones, we're going to use both small ones whole, because it's too small to. If you've got the stamps yourself and you want to, you can stamp, but I decided it was too fiddly to include in the kit. So I'm going to cut out that one whole, this one whole, and then these 2 are going to be just the bands. so I can keep track of the band ones. And then I'm gonna relax and cut out some baubles. So this is the bit, if you're watching the replay and you're doing the beginner's kit, then you're welcome to zoom ahead. And if you're watching along live and want to say hello in the comments, if you've got any questions, you can pop them into the live chat. Go. So these are quite, I mean, you've got a sort of slight wiggly bit on the side where the strands of wool go over the edge, but other than that it's pretty much just cutting out a circle. Quite nice and relaxed. And so I've got a nice sharp pair of small scissors, and if you've watched what I'm doing, I'm actually holding the scissors still and I'm rotating the card, and that helps me keep in better control, and I can wiggle the card to get all those little extra like folds and turns in the pattern. At the same time, you're not like hurting your wrist and your arm by trying to sort of reach round. And then ever so often, you've noticed where I'm cutting it out, I'm not aiming to cut it out like a was it the Clement, like easy peelers, when you're trying to peel it off in one go. It's like if it gets too much under here, it starts to pull on the scissors and you're a bit more restricted. So ever so often, if I feel like it's getting like that, I will cut the excess off, and that you'll find it a lot easier to carry on without the weight of that card putting it down. There we go. And then the two little ones. Hold up a bit higher so you can see. So it does get a little bit fiddly. And hello, Deborah. You got a chance to join along live. There we go. Also gives me the reassurance that the mic is working and the sound's okay, if someone can hear me. Such a shame it's recording it in portrait though. I can't think if I manage to work out how to force it to record in landscape. I think I'll be tempted to re-record this one so that it matches all the rest. We shall see. There we go. Right, so that's the 5. And then we're going to cut out these extra bits. So we're just looking at the top band of wool across the top, and then cutting away the rest. So you want to keep the black line of the outer edge of the wool. Just going to cut the two ends first because they're a bit more fiddly. we've got 2 medium ones. And then 1 large one. I've got the extra band on. I think I've got an idea for these ones, not necessarily Christmas, but for these wooden balls to have the stamped onto white card and then coloured in, like the rainbow walls, you know, the ones that like merge from one colour to the next. Maybe just colour each line in a different colour, or whether you like blend one to the other. I think that would look quite cool. I'll look at some birthday card ideas from these stamps. Sticky bit on my scissors. I may have used them for glue at some point. Shush. Very unlike me. Deborah says sound and picture are great, thank you. There we go. Right, I'm going to clear all this stuff off here. I've got I always keep the largest cereal boxes from the kitchen, and then use them to stash all my recycling. What have we got this time? Cheerios this time. You'll see it. I fill it up before putting the whole box in the recycling. And only ever so often it gets accidentally knocked over, which is really annoying. Wonderful. Right. Let's bring these here. Right, so now we're going to stick the square onto the card blank. So just make a little check that it's the right way around before we start sticking. It's opening. And then I'm going to add some of this glue. So this is like a glue mouse, so it's like a double-sided tape. It's just a very quick and easy way to do this. But any glue will do. It's going to be taking quite a bit of weight, this one, because obviously all the rest of the embellishments on the card are relying on this to stick. So what I'm going to do is just add some wet glue as well into the middle. So I recommend, like, if you're doing like a Pritt stick, or if you're doing a Pritt stick, then I find it can dry out. So fine for maybe this Christmas, but you know, when you've got a stash of cards and you still they might use them next year. Just to add a bit of PVA or craft glue in the middle as well, just to give it a bit more oomph. And because it's really the beautiful thick card, then the wet glue isn't going to show through. Add that on there, and then we're going to stick this down with a nice even border around the edge. So again, I'm going to add some more glue over where I've taped that. And again, more importantly to put the wet glue on this one, just because it's got the bumps and lumps of the thread, that it's you'll need just a bit more encouragement to lie flat, but try and avoid the holes. See how it's seeping through. Let me show you, get a close up of that. I've just done it around where the thread is going to be creating a lump. I might just put some more at the very top. And then where these have been cut, so you can always check them beforehand, especially if you're cutting them out yourself. Make sure you test it when it's when there's no glue on it, that you've got a beautiful square and square, so you can get a an even border on each side. But where I know these are perfect fit, it means I can start confidently on one side, get an even border on one edge and the top and bottom, and then I know that when I place it down it will be correct on the other side. There we go, dangling tea lights. So next we're gonna, so if you just make sure you've got them in the right order. So the order it is small one, the largest, and then a medium, and then another little small one there. And just make sure, so you can, so they're not completely circular, so you can, if you want that a bit further away from the greeting, you can just rotate it a bit and you'll get a different thing. It's also nice to have the sort of the swooshes of the wall in different places, so that looks nice. So I'm going to add foam pads to the back of all 5 of these. We've got I think in the craft long kits, if you've got the full kit, you'll have a roll of tape. Oh, that's very tucked onto here. Or if you've got the individual kits, you'll probably have these foam pads. So these are double-sided, they're sticky on both sides, you can peel off, and they've got a nice thickness to them, which is great for adding like 3D dimension to your cards, adding a bit of interest. So, but you can stick them down flat if you wish. If you're posting the card, you just need to be aware that if you add, I think 1 layer is okay these days. If you add 2 or 3 layers, then you're going to be tipping into a thicker letter and need to pay a large letter postage stamp, which makes sending them a little bit more. And if it's someone that you're going to see in person for Christmas, then go to town, add as many layers as you want. As long as it fits the envelope, but we can work out ways around that. Either use a larger size, or make your own envelope. So if you've got the foam pads, so the foam tape, you should be able to rip some small pieces off. For these foam pads, I'm going to peel them off so that fits nicely on that size. And then this one, I think it's going to be a little bit too big, so I'm going to cut one in half. So I'm going to use scissors. I'm going to cut it while they're both sides are still stuck on, and that limits the amount of stickiness that gets onto the scissors. And then that one. And then for the smaller ones, let's go even smaller. So make sure they're all stuck down, and then if you've got edge of a nail, you can peel it off, and it's sticky. They are unforgivingly sticky, so once you've stuck them down, they're staying. So be careful. There you go. So you're just overlapping the bottom line of the so we got a word what to call that, the bauble top. So it doesn't matter that you can't see the bottom line because it's attached to the bauble. Just make sure you got these in the right order. I'm going to rotate that to a different way. Go, beautiful. So it can work like that, but we're going to add a little bit extra. So we've got these bands of wool here. It's very difficult to see which one's the medium and which one's the large. You literally have to hold them up against each other to see. So this is the large one. So what we're going to do is we're going to gently curve it up like that. So it's just got a little bit of bend to it. It's quite a thick card, so it will take some resistance. And then I'm going to add some glue to either end. I'm going to use the wet glue. Hold this up so you can see again. So I'll just put some glue on either end. And this wet glue doesn't takes a little bit of time to set, so it's quite good to have it, leave it for a bit, otherwise it's too. So and there's a delay on this screen that I'm watching, but like I said, that didn't focus for you. Apologies. And then the foam pad in the middle. So I'm sort of deliberately waiting a bit for the wet glue to just set slightly so it doesn't ooze out when it's placed on here, which I fear it may do because it looks very thick. So I'm just going to use a little bit of scrap, which is from my cereal box. I'm just going to take off a bit of that. And then, following the right curve, we're ready to stick it on to here. So what I'm going to do is, the idea of the glue at the end is to make it look like the wool has curled from one end, like around the ball, and then this is just lifted up in the middle. So I'm going to hold it down until the glue takes. Beautiful. That's done. So let me hold it up, and then we're going to hold it up slightly too high. Bring it down a little bit. Follow the lines, and now I'm going to do the same with these two. So start by bending them. Do that at the same time. Start by bending them. And then add a little bit, oh, say a little bit less glue, a lot came out then. I will clear that up. And then some even smaller bits. Go on here. Again, just follow where the curve goes. It's like a mini decoupage, layering one image on top of the other. Multitasking now because I want to get this one on. Tell you what, let's get them both stuck on and then I can hold them in place just to let that glue set. getting into the camera. Right, so now I'm going to hold both all 4 ends just to make sure they give the glue a chance to set. This top one might need just a little bit more glue. I think that must have dried. Just going to gently add a little bit more glue in here. So again, it's wet now, so I don't want to push it down and let the glue ooze out. So I just want to be careful. Good. So this is the craft version. I will do a big like ta-da once this is stuck. So it's also available on the white card blank. So it's made in exactly the same way. We just got some different colours. So it's a bit of a brighter red, and then a brighter embroidery thread, and then the green background. So a bit more traditional red and green Christmas card. And there we go. There is our woolen bauble Christmas card. Thank you ever so much for watching along. I would love to see what you've made, whether you've made this design or whether you've taken the stamps and created your own ideas. I would love to see them. You can email them to me. My email address is Della, which is Della, at dellabydesign.com. Or you can pop along to my Instagram or Facebook group, Facebook page, which are all at Della by Design. You'll find me on there, and that'd be fab to see what you've been making. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Do enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be back crafting again soon. Bye bye.